This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I'm Carol Marie of Anna's Gate International, and I'm inviting you to be a light this Christmas to the widows and fatherless in India. It's James 1:27. It's pure religion. It's visiting the fatherless and the widow in their distress. I'm telling you, it's the heart of God, and it is my greatest joy. On one of my trips, I heard the Lord say, "As you hold them, I will lift off the shame and remove the pain." He gave me a picture in my mind of hugging the widows as they went for their meal that we'd provided and what we had observed the day before. I shared this with my intercessor, and we watched starving widows, skin and bone, get out of line for food just to receive their hug from us. They sobbed in our arms because they had not been shown love for many, many years or ever. So every trip we hug widows is so precious. You see, the plight of the widow is desperate in India. There are over 50 million widows just by the death of their husband. This number doesn't even include those divorced, abandoned, or cast out because they found hope in the Savior. The widow is considered a bad omen and blamed for his death no matter how he died. They say if you marry her, you're going to die too. Many are illiterate and only learn by what they hear and see. The custom is, if you see a widow first thing in the morning, then you're going to have a bad day the rest of the day. I mean, that is the kind of thing that they live in, afraid to even look at somebody in the morning. Her life is a life of exile, most of the time losing her home, all possessions and family. Sometimes she is forced into prostitution just in order to feed herself or her children, or she gives them up so that they can have a better life. She becomes vulnerable and defenseless to the prey around her. I'm telling you, there's no words for the heartache and the pain she experiences. Many find the loneliness and despair so unbearable, they seek escape through suicide. But God is making a difference. We are clothing and feeding these precious ones and educating them in a trade, giving them a position. Most of all, we're introducing them to the hope giver and becoming family to them. I've been working for over 10 years with Manna Ministries, based in Hyderabad, India, and I know them for their integrity. They have over 4,500 children, many orphaned by both parents, and all relatives sometimes, by the tsunami. Others are abandoned and given up due to poverty. These children are given an education, a place they call home. They lift that orphan spirit off of them, and they bring them into a place of importance. They raise them up to be godly men and women to make a difference in their country. Together, we are reaching also out to thousands of widows, raising them up to be a mighty army for their nation. And one of the ways is through sewing centers, where we teach them to pray and to sew. The goal of Anna's Gate is to rise up sewing centers in all 47 of Manna Ministries' homes. In this way, the widows learn a trade, grow in Christ, and are able to connect with the fatherless and the widow. It's James 1:27 again, and you can read more about that on our website. December, we will be visiting 5 of our sewing centers in children's homes. We'll be feeding at least 1,000 widows and children, giving them Christmas dinner, and providing each one with a special gift. It was at this time of year during Jesus' life and ministry he celebrated Hanukkah, or the Festival of Lights. He, being the light of the world, brought light into darkness. So, together we're going to do the same thing and bring light into the dark, lonely places in these precious lives. We want the gifts to come from you. And the greatest gift is love. Would you handprint a note telling a widow, child, or teen simply that you love them and are praying for them? Could you also include a picture of yourself with the note and offering? We will buy the gifts there, but give your note and your picture with each gift. These ones will cherish your words. So please write plainly. They're learning to read English, and this is a good way to practice. For each gift of $20, you can provide a present and a Christmas meal for a widow or a child. For $100, you can provide a gift and meal for 5. This could be a family project. Your children's department or women's group can just take up an offering and everyone write a note. Whatever works for you. But please be a part of this and please sow something so that you can partake in the blessing too. It's time for us to be light and hope during this season. And I promise you, I'll take lots of pictures and we'll put it on the website so you can see. From the deepest part of my heart, I thank you. I love you and I send special hugs to you.
This